Hey everyone, my name is Abhyudaya, and today I'll be presenting my EPQ challenge presentation, which is inspiring waste segregation in households of India. So let's start off with the reason behind why I chose this topic. I chose this topic because I regularly witness poor waste management in my city. Almost every other day, I see piles of trash rotting on streets, contributing to pollution and health risks. I always wanted to understand why this happens and what prevents households from segregating waste. And I thought it's pretty clear that better awareness and action are needed. Having that in mind, let's look at some objectives for this project. The primary goal of this project is to encourage consistent waste segregation among Indian households. Despite the availability of basic infrastructure in some urban areas, waste segregation is not yet a consistent practice. So, the idea is to explore how we can make this process more engaging, easy to adopt, and ultimately habit forming, which is through a gamified website. Now, to achieve this, I aim to investigate the barriers that prevent households from segregating waste. These barriers can range from physical factors like the lack of proper facilities to mental and emotional stressors, such as feeling overwhelmed by environmental problems or viewing segregation as an extra chore. Another key objective was to promote awareness about the environmental impact of improper waste segregation. Many people are unaware of how their daily habits contribute to larger problems like pollution, landfills, overflowing, and harmful effects on human health. But what actually is waste segregation? Waste segregation is the process of sorting and separating different types of waste at the very point of collection and disposal. This means that instead of mixing all types of waste together, we separate them into categories such as biodegradable, recyclable, and hazardous waste. Now, the goal is to ensure that waste is managed in a way that promotes recycling, composting, and correct disposal. For example, biodegradable waste can be turned into compost, recyclable materials like plastic and glass can be repurposed, and hazardous waste can be disposed of safely to avoid any environmental damage. And why is it important? Well, effective waste segregation is crucial for sustainable waste management to reduce environmental pollution and conserve more resources. When mixed together, recyclable and compostable materials often end up in landfills, where they either take years to decompose or release harmful greenhouse gases like methane. Now, segregation prevents this by ensuring each type of waste is handled properly. By practicing segregation at the household level, we can significantly reduce pollution, save natural resources, and contribute to a healthier environment. Now, first of all, let's go through the heading structure of my literature review and get an overview of the whole research. Number one, waste management, waste segregation and management. I looked at the concept of waste segregation and its importance in managing waste effectively. I then explored the types of waste segregation with an overview of the three main types of waste segregation, then discussed the current state of the Indian waste management market, challenges, and any opportunities for improvement. Number two, web development process. I did an overview of what gamification is and techniques which can be applied to encourage waste segregation behavior through a table of different gamification examples in the market. Then I focused on no-code development processes, where we explore the process of no-code development and review current no-code platforms. Now, moving on, these are some of the key findings I explored in my literature review. Globally, 2.1 billion tons of municipal waste are generated annually, and this could grow by 70% by 2050 if current trends continue. The three main types of waste segregation: wet waste, which is biodegradable, like food waste and flower waste; then dry waste, which is non-biodegradable, like glass, plastic, board, and metal; and hazardous waste, which includes e-waste, chemicals, and medical waste that requires separate handling. Now, coming to India, India generates 62 million tons of waste annually, but only 42 million tons are collected. Of this, just 12 million tons are treated, while 31 million tons end up in landfills. Now, keeping that in mind, India has over 3,000 landfills, which are mostly poorly managed, making India among the top 10 countries generating municipal solid waste. And only 40% of the population lacks awareness about proper waste segregation. Now, looking at gamification and no-code development, here's what I found. Gamification is the process of integrating games or games-like elements into apps and websites to positively influence audiences and inspire engagement and participation in a particular activity. Now, some examples are Sweatcoin, where you can earn digital currency by walking, Duolingo, where you can learn different languages in unique ways, then Kahoot, every student's personal favorite, which makes simple and boring quizzes enjoyable, and lastly, QuizUp, making learning fun and being able to test their knowledge with other people in real time. Now, moving on to my project plan, in my moving on to my project plan in my project proposal, which is structured into key stages, each stage with a specific goal. First, I'll dedicate 2 weeks to researching best practices on gamification and user experience. Simultaneously, I'll spend another 2 weeks studying waste management habits and motivations, particularly in India. Next, I'll allocate 1 to 2 weeks to brainstorming gamification elements such as points, levels, challenges, and rewards. Following this, I'll work on a web development plan, which includes creating a sitemap and low fidelity wireframes. This planning phase will also take about 1 to 2 weeks. Then the next step is development phase. Over 4 weeks, I'll create a basic website prototype to test the concept. After the prototype is ready, I'll spend 2 weeks testing it with potential users. During this time, I'll gather feedback on the functionality, design, and overall user experience. Once I have the data and feedback, I'll move on to writing the essay. Over the next 2 weeks, I'll write the introduction, abstract, and conclusion sections of the essay. Then editing and implementing feedback will take an additional 2 weeks. Finally, I'll spend 2 weeks preparing my extended challenge project presentation. This presentation will showcase the entire journey from research to implementation. In total, this plan spans approximately 18 to 19 weeks and is designed to be systematic and thorough. Moving on to some knowledge and skills I worked on this term: problem solving, project management, principles of gamification, understanding the process of no-code web development, understanding of waste management systems, and the impact of current waste segregation habits in households of India. That's my time. Thank you for listening.